Tim Marshall. Welcome to R&B Showcase Live, coming at you live from the heart and soul of Philadelphia. We got another great show for you today. Before we get started, I'm going to introduce to you my co-host. They're also co-host on the R&B Showcase radio show, Mr. Kevin White.
How you doing, Tim?
How you doing, Kevin? Tell us about your show, man.
Well, like you said, I'm co-host with you on the R&B Showcase. But before that, I do a show called The Crossover.
All right, what's that show about, Kevin?
It's an hour of my crazy music selections. And I take you from your other co-host show to your show. That's why I call it The Crossover. It's kind of like that bridge between him and you.
We know on Sunday afternoons we got you on lockdown.
We do.
106.5 in Philadelphia with The Crossover, Kevin White. Now we come on from 6 to 8 with the R&B Showcase. Mr. Kevin White is 5 to 6. And before Kevin White, we got Julian Seward. Tell us about your show, Julian.
I start off that Sunday set. My show is called My Bittersweet Philosophy, and as the title implies, it's the things I've been contemplating and thinking about over the course of the week and those songs that inspired.
Well, we got two great radio hosts here with us here today. But speaking of great radio hosts, we got one legendary radio host out of Philadelphia. He's a radio host, he's a promoter, he's a producer, and as a disc jockey, he's got all kind of things happening. We're going to invite him and welcome him to the show from New York City. Let's give a nice round of applause for Maurice Watts.
Hey.
Glad to be here, Tim. Glad to be here. How you doing, baby?
I'm doing great, Maurice, and we're glad to have you. Finally got you on the air here. We go back, and I was thinking about how long we go back. It's got to be like 20-some years, right?
Over 20 years,
Over
yes.
20 years, man. But it's
Over 20
You
years.
still look 25, so I don't know how you do it. But it's good to have you. You got a nice looking studio there. I'm looking at your background there, and you're at WCHR FM 90.3 in Harlem, right?
At WHCR, yes.
WHCR,
90.3. Right in the heart of Harlem, baby.
All right. You hear now they call him the voice, and you know why? Do you have to ask why they call him the voice? You got that great bass voice, and you. So how long have you been in radio now? Give us.
This October 2nd will be my 43rd year in radio broadcasting.
That deserves a round of applause.
Absolutely.
Yes. 43 years in radio. Congratulations, man. You've been doing a lot of things in radio, a lot of things in broadcasting over the years, and a lot of shows. And now, what kind of music do you play on your show? Give us a little background on your show, The Voice.
Well, the name of the show is The Love Zone, and of course, I guess you can tell by the title, it's all about love, baby. We play anything from the doo-wop all the way up into the current love songs. If it's about love, that's what we're playing. But we try to focus mostly on classic R&B soul, the oldie but goodies.
Now, who are some of the artists you play on this show? The main artists.
Oh, anyone from the Stylistics, the Delphonics, Temptations, Luther Vandross, my girl Patti LaBelle, Shalimar. You name it, we got it, man. If it's all about love, that's what we got. Even up to some of the newer artists, Eric Benet, and all of the cats.
Now, you mentioned Patti LaBelle. The Four Queens are touring. Did they come to New York yet, the Four Queens?
Yes. They was in Brooklyn. We was out there with her, and they did the thing out there. Everywhere they go, especially when the four of them was together, it's an awesome evening. It's an awesome evening.
I'm looking forward to the show. We're supposed to be going out to see Patti LaBelle, Gladys Knight, Chaka Khan, and Stephanie Mills. You can't ask for a better show. They've been touring and they've been on the circuit promoting that show. So you got a chance to see.
All powerhouse. All powerhouse singers. I love them all.
All-time greats. I'm looking forward to that show. But give us a little background on you, how you got started in radio. Because I know I'm from Philadelphia, so we have people like Jerry Blavat and Harvey Holiday and Butterball from WDAS and many great legends in this area. But tell us, who inspired you to get into broadcasting, how you got started in radio.
Well, I got started. I used to listen to my man, the late great Vaughn Harper, the late great Frankie Crocker.
Yes.
All of them those two right there was who inspired me to do what I do today. But my dad gave me my start because back in the early 80s, he was the host of a gospel show called The Road to Glory in New York City. And I used to go with him to the radio station, and I'll never forget, in 1982, he handed me a flyer to read. And I read that flyer one day on the air, the phones lit up, and that was it. I was hooked with one flyer.
That's all it
And
takes.
after that, I became the co-host of The Road to Glory, and we did 10 years. We started on 105.9 in New York City, and then we moved up to 90.3 FM WHCR up in Harlem. And like I said, we did 10 years of gospel together, and then in 1992, because I used to fill in for jocks, but I've always had this ambition to play love songs. My whole life, from a little boy, that's all I was into was slow jams. And in 1992, I came up with the idea to present it to the GM, who was Mr. Frank Allen back then. And he asked me, what would you call your show if you did that? And I said, it would be The Love Zone. I was ready, you know. He said, okay, instead of one night, how about 2 nights a week? And I was, due to me working in Westchester, I had to pick one of the nights because I wasn't allowed to get off work early enough to do both shows twice. So we decided to go with the Lovers Night, which was Friday night. And we've been rocking New York City and the world because we put WHCR on the internet and it's worldwide now. And they've been zoning with me since 1992. So 10 years of gospel, 33 years of R&B with the Love Zone, and that's the 43 years of my career. And it's been a wonderful, wonderful ride, man.
Now, did you have to go to school for broadcasting? I mean, what kind of training did you have? You just knew you wanted to do this? Was there any?
I did not take 1 hour of training.
You hear that voice, right?
Oh,
you
can't teach that.
You can't teach that. You got that gift, brother. You got that natural.
Well, thank you, man. That's due to my mentor, the late, great Melvin Franklin from The Temptations. As a little boy, I used to try to mimic him. And my mom used to always say around the house, you better stop doing that, boy. Your voice going to get stuck like that. And I guess that was the first time I didn't listen to mom, and it got stuck, and it paid off.
Lo and behold.
Now, since we talked about Melvin Franklin and the Temptations, we know that you toured for a while with Ollie Woodson. Ollie Woodson is a former lead singer of the Temptations, and you remember "Treat Her Like a Lady," folks, right? And he sang lead on that song. But you actually toured with him for a number of years. Tell us about that experience with Ollie Woodson of the Temptations.
Oh man, that was a blessing. One Friday night on the Love Zone, I'm on the air. Well, actually, it started in 2000 when I signed Ollie Woodson onto Voice Distributions with his solo project that he had. We took that, blew it up worldwide. And he used to come to New York and ride in my car. So one day, I guess he was listening to one of my gospel songs when I used to sing with the Statistics of the Bronx, New York. And I didn't know he was really paying attention. So in 2002, his bass singer got sick and was out. And he called me while I was on the air at WHCR. And he actually said, hey, man, I don't know what you're doing, but I need you out here to help me out. I said, what can I do for you, man? He said, I need you to, my bass singer is sick, and I need you, man. I need you. I heard you sing on that gospel record. And I was like, all right. Well, I said, let me see who I can find for you. I was thinking about Blue Lovett, you know, maybe I'll call Blue. Maybe he can go help him or something. But he said, no. He said, and I know you can do it. And when I heard that YOU, it just resonated in my head. And I was like, is he talking about me? You know, and sure enough, he sent me the songs, the tracks and stuff. We flew out to Ohio, got down with rehearsal, and that was history, man. He made my Temptation dream come true, to tour with him and to perform as their bass singer. It was unbelievable, man, unbelievable.
I got to see you out in, I was with Larry Cotton, who was my co-host at the time on the R&B Showcase radio show. We got a chance to see you with Hegan's son, I think, perform.
You was there?
I was at that show, yeah. I was at
that
show.
Wow.
Hegan's son. Then you guys came to the Dell in Philadelphia. I think you had a chance to come to
did.
Philadelphia. And so we got to see a couple of the shows. Now, Temptations have all that choreography. They got all them steps, right? So how was it to learn all? Because you guys the steps were really good. I mean, the choreography was good. So tell us what it was like learning all that choreography. I mean, you had to learn it on the fly, right?
Yeah, I only had 4 days.
Oh, my goodness.
I had 4 days to get ready, and we had the first gig we had was in Ohio, and when they flew me out to Ohio, we was there, and practicing at home is one thing, and then you get on stage with them cats, and then they say 1, 2, 3, dun, 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 and you take off, and they took off, and I was still standing still. I was like, whoa, and he was like, all right, let's do it again, and I knew right then and there I wasn't ready for the first show, so I sat on a stool the first show.
Right.
And I watched them cats get down to my left, and I said, that'll never happen again. And I went home, and I practiced, and I practiced, and I practiced. I had my neighbors coming up. They was the other 4 temps, and we was just practicing in my living room. And by the next gig, I was ready.
Now you worked,
and that was Mohegan Sun, probably the one you saw. That was my first dance gig.
Well, you were getting down there. You had the steps down, to a T, which was really good. And I know over the years you got a chance to interview a lot of the Temptations members. They have a lot of some of them. Who are some of the members you interviewed on your show? The Temptations.
Of course, the original Otis Williams. We also had Barrington Bo Henderson. We've had G.C. Cameron on the show, Dennis Edwards,
Right.
you know, the legendary Dennis Edwards, and of course, Ollie Woodson was there too. So we had quite a few. Joe Herdern, I believe the bass singer. And yeah, those were the only ones that we actually got around to actually interviewing.
And Richard Street, didn't you have Richard Street on there?
Well, what happened is when Ali Woodson passed, I put together a project in memory of Ali, and I called all of his old singing partners from the Temps, some of the people that he recorded with, solo projects, and Richard was one of the first to come on board. No, Bobby Womack was the first one to come on board. And then Richard, he came on, and they all called in during that tribute, which is still available up on my website, on my podcast at MauriceWatts.com. And we did a 4-hour tribute to Ollie Woodson and took the listeners back down memory lane and had his friends telling great stories. And man, just thinking about it right now, it was just a very emotional night. And then Juanita, his wife, called in at the end of the show, and she was just crying. She was just crying and said thank you, because no one had ever put together a tribute like that to the late, great Mr. Ollie Woodson.
And you had a huge groove on there, the jazz artist. He sang with a lot of different people, didn't he?
Yes, he did. Gospel. He had the gospel group on there also. Ali was a singer, man. You know, he loved to sing and he loved to dance. And mentioning the tour that you was part of, that you saw us, when we did Mohegan Sun in Connecticut, we got to Robin Adele. He was like, he wanted to put new songs into the show. And we were like, huh? We only practiced for this.
Right.
That man stood up in the middle of the tour bus from Connecticut all the way to Philadelphia, teaching us the choreography. And the show you saw in Philly was learned on the bus on that tour ride down.
Something. Wow. That's unbelievable.
He just loved to dance, and that's why his funeral was so, it was weird for me because I've never seen that man not moving. And to be at his funeral and see him still, I mean, Ali dances when he come to Harlem with his fur coat on, he's dancing, he loves to sing, so to see him not moving, it was very emotional for me. It got to me deeply, and I was like, wow, it's real. It's really real, you know, and I miss that guy, man. Miss him. Real cool brother.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad you had were a part of that. That was awesome. But these gentlemen have some couple questions for you that I also want to ask. Is Kevin White?
Well, yeah, Maurice, you just mentioned voice distribution. I was sharing with these guys that I know that I've ordered stuff from Voice Distributions many, many years ago. I'm trying to think. I think it might have been a Manhattan's CD. I guess my question is, how did that Voice Distributions come about?
Well, what happened started with Ollie Woodson. He was my first artist that I signed in 2000, and when he said, "Hey man," he said, "if you distribute it, you know, we'll make a deal, make it happen." We did the contract, and we took it. And we had signs on the side of the trucks, the vans, everywhere around the town, wherever we went, and we put the word out with Ali, and other artists start seeing that Ali was getting airplay. You know, G.C. Cameron came on with his project. And then Ray Goodman and Brown, Al Goodman, my good friend Al Goodman, you know him, Tim.
Yes.
He came on with the Moments with their project, and we were trying to get Gerald Austin with the Manhattans, but Manhattans just wouldn't bite. And Al Goodman was telling him, said, "You got to get with the Voice. He'll get your stuff out there." And we've had everyone on there. I mean, Stephanie Mills, you name it. We got a host of artists, over 20-something artists that has come through there. And then finally, we got the Manhattans. Gerald Austin called up, and he had a solo project with the Sam Cooke tribute. He came on with that. Blue Lovett was like, "Yo, we sending him the CDs. He know what he's doing." You know, and that's how Voice Distributions got started, with Ollie Woodson, and then everyone else that's came on board, and it's been blowing up ever since, man.
I think, now that you mention it, I think I got that Ray Goodman and Brown CD through Voice Distributions.
You know what? That is one of the greatest. I don't like remakes, really, you know. But I'm going to tell you how good that CD is. That CD is so good that it really hurt the sales, because people was like, "Oh, it's the original record." They thought it was the original artist. You know, it was when I would play it, they was like, "Oh, well, we got that already. That's how good them guys did that CD. I mean, and you could play it from the first track to the last track.
Right.
And it's just heavenly, man, heavenly. And I want to thank you, man, for being a Voice Distribution customer. Man. I appreciate you.
Absolutely.
Now, Voice Distribution, was that just for music, or did you do like videos and things as well?
We did DVDs. We had DVDs also, and those started going. that's what started taking over DVDs, and then that slowed down the sell of CDs. Because then the live concerts, then we got hooked up with the Shy Lights. We got hooked up. Actually, the Dramatics recorded their DVD at one of our production shows that I co-produced back in the days that I was the MC. So I'm actually on that project live as the MC. And it went to DVDs, it went to books. We got Kevin Owens' book up on the Voice Distribution, and on. And then Voice Distributions, the company went into producing shows. And then that's how, we're evolved into where it's at today.
I was going to ask you how you got started producing, because you're doing, like I said, you're doing so much. The distribution of the music, distribution of the videos, and then you do live concert shows. How did that come about?
Oh man, the concert, well, every year with the anniversary of the Love Zone from '92, we would do an anniversary celebration in Harlem at that Menacing Townhouse or Span Hall, and by the time we got to my 25th radio anniversary, I said I wanted to do something different. And I said, this time I'm going to bring one of Voice Distribution's artists in to perform. And we started looking for a venue, and we was going to go out to Queens to Astoria Manor. And one day my wife ran into a gentleman up in the Poconos, and he was doing events up there. And she said, you know my wife? I mean, you know my husband? He said, who, Vaughn Harper? And they was laughing. And me and him hooked up, and he said, why are you doing a one-day event? You got 25 years. Why don't you do a weekend? And I said, because we don't have the venue, where to do it at down here. And he said he had a place up in the Poconos. And that was the beginning of the Classic R&B Music Festival. We started that as the weekend. And we had a really good run for 16 years. And last year, we dissolved that company. And that's what led to me doing it as a solo project by myself this year.
So we wish you much success with this. Your first year doing this as a solo, so much success to you with that.
Thank you, man.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, man.
Now your 40th anniversary. Do you still have you have a 40th anniversary DVD out? Is that on you?
Well, no, that's the 30. That's the 30 years behind. That's the 30th anniversary.
30th anniversary. Okay.
A production on me. Yeah.
Right.
It's called 30 Years Behind the Mic.
Okay.
And it's available on my website, MauriceWatts.com. It's available on Amazon, and now it's a collector's item because they're running out.
Okay.
So if you haven't received yours,
I don't have one. I'm definitely going to put in for a copy of that.
Definitely. It takes you back 30 years. That, like I said, back then was my 30th anniversary. So it takes you 30 years back through how I got started in the studio with my dad. It takes you through when I got with Ollie Woodson and the Empress of Soul. Takes you through my statistic days. A lot of people didn't get to see me sing or perform. It's in that DVD documentary, and it's a nice 2-hour documentary.
Julian, you have a question?
I'm thinking about the fact that over this career that you've had, you got the chance to achieve both of your your childhood dreams. You got to sing R&B and you got to play R&B. And I'm thinking, what are some of those traits that complement each other when you look back between the two careers? And also, I guess most importantly, what are some of those things that you realize would not carry over between those two careers and might hinder you and not complement you in those two careers?
Well, you know what? My career has been awesome from day one. I have to admit it. It's just been awesome. Everything that I dreamed have come true. Everything that I ever wanted to do have come true. And they all coincide with each other somehow.
Yeah.
From me on radio with my dad, my love of music as a teenager back when I was dating, and I always dated older women, and they was like, what do you know about this music? In my bedroom, I had a couch in my bedroom, as a teenager. So it was always slow jams, the purple light with the posters. If they came and stayed in the living room, they was all right. If they made it to the bedroom, they was in trouble, boy. Because I would have it playing, and and they was like, it was just something. Music always was my connection to get me through anything in life. And that's why I'm so serious and passionate about what I play. I had the opportunity to go to bigger radio stations, and they wanted to control what I did. They wanted me to bring the Love Zone there, but it was like, when I went down, it was like, oh no, she won't let you change the record. It has to be whatever she programmed. I'm like, whatever she programs. I'm like, that's not the Love Zone. The Love Zone is what I feel. Sometimes I'm hearing a record and I hear something else, and I'll switch whatever's in the playlist. And it goes, and it's just the way you deliver it. Like, everyone got the same records, but it's how you deliver it, how you line them up, and everything. So to answer your question, it all coincided, man, and it blessed me. The music on the air, meeting Ollie Woodson, the distribution, performing, they all link together, and neither one of them has held me back from anything that I wanted to do, really. And I wouldn't change anything else about it, man. It's beautiful. It's long. It's tiring, you know. And I was trying to retire at the 35th anniversary in the GM. I think I was retiring in my head, and I didn't tell the station. And she was like, "You can't just walk out on us like this." I'm like, "35, that's it." She said, "No, you got to give me 5 more." So God bless her, Angela Hart, and I love her. She's no longer the GM there now, but we have Keziah Gold there, who's doing a fabulous job. And we thought it was going to be 40, and now it's 43 coming up.
I love it. I love it.
And you're also doing things with the National R&B Music Society, Vanessa Jordan Bascom and Stuart Bascom's organization. You're doing your thing. I mean, you can't. They definitely look forward to seeing you with those shows every year in Atlantic City. You do such a great job working the crowd. I mean, you got so much energy. You're going for 10 hours, I think, whatever, all day long doing this thing. And tell us about that. How you got hooked up with that organization with Vanessa?
You know, like I said, everything coincide with each other. Me on the Love Zone, Howie D, and one day Howie D knew about Vanessa Jordan, and he said, "Hey Mo, you got to hook up with Vanessa. You know, she do this thing down in Atlantic City." I said, "Well, you know, I get those kind of offers all the time, and they don't come through. You know." So I said, "Hey, make it happen, whatever." So he got with Vanessa. Vanessa, I think she said, "Well, have him call me or something," and he said, "No, you need to call him or something." So Vanessa called me and invited me to come down as a guest to see what she was doing in Atlantic City. And that was 2009.
Okay.
I think it was 2009. And sure enough, we got down there as a guest, and she had an MC from another radio station there. And it was intermission. She said, "You want to go up and say something?" Because some of the Love Zone listeners were down there. I said, "If you want me to." She said, "Sure." And she did what most people should never do. And she put the mic in my hand, and I spoke, and the crowd was wooed, and I rocked them a little bit there. And she said, "Hey, we need you down here in Atlantic City." And I've been the MC since then for those shows down there. And I didn't go down there to take anyone's job, but she said there's MCs and then there's MCs. And she said, "You're a MC." And we believe in rocking the crowd. We believe in making sure that each and every individual who's at that event is enjoying themselves. I make them feel special. I bring them up. I'm shaking their hands. I'm meeting them. I'm walking around in the back. To those way in the back in 10th row, those are my people. I'm shaking hands with them and meeting them. And I love Atlantic City. Atlantic City has been amazing to me for my career. Vanessa Jordan and her staff at the National R&B Music Society, I gotta give her all the love in the world. Absolutely. That's my sister. Her and Stuart. Stuart's my brother. And together we've been a team ever since then. And they get our events mixed up. Sometimes they think it's my event down there. They think it's her event up north. And we just, nothing's going to come between that. The forces try to, but they can't come between that. That's real, genuine friendship, love. It's beyond business. And I appreciate her so much. And I tell her, I'm your MC. And it's certain promoters that will come and try to get me from up under her. You're wasting your time, baby. You know, now I do MC other shows, but I'm not going to MC other shows that are trying to do what she's doing with the National R&B Music Society. They have their own Walk of Fame now down there in Atlantic City, and we support them with that. And I'm just loyal like that. I know when slicksters are around trying to undermine a person, and no, you can't get the voice just because there's no money that can buy the voice. The voice is genuine. And Vanessa Jordan, I want to say it personally too. I thank you, darling. I love you. And I thank her for everything she's done for my family and my career and all the other artists that she's doing, Tim. As you know, she has a membership that is beyond. And she's doing things like helping the artists get royalties back, insurance, and some type of medical coverage and stuff that they're doing being retired. She's doing great things with the organization. So please, if I can give out her website,
you can.
The National R&B is RnBMusicSociety.com. The letters RnB. And you go there, MusicSociety.com, and please support her also.
It's all for good cause and the historical and cultural preservation of rhythm and blues music. It's all about that, and it's a great thing that she's doing, a great thing that you're doing, and she has a lot of but people don't realize is that the artists are part of the organization. You know, you got the Manhattans and the Delphonics, Will Hart. Will Hart. We all know Will Hart
Yes.
from the Delphonics, and our also our good friend Kyle Mack was on one of the shows last time you were
Yeah.
down there. He's a good friend of
Really?
ours. He sang The Temptations,
Yeah.
Treated Like a Lady. Yeah.
Yes, Carl is bad.
Yeah.
Carl is bad.
Yes.
You gotta watch out. Don't judge the book by the cover when it comes here.
Absolutely.
And Kyle was signed to, what label was that? Dr. Otis Williams.
1030 International, Otis's
Yeah.
label, Otis Williams.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah, he's good friends with Otis and the guys.
Yeah, they were all signed to the same label. But, you also worked with Russell Tomkins. Tell us about your connection with Russell Tomkins Jr. Did some performances or
Oh, my
songs.
God.
Tell us about it.
Yeah, Russell Tomkins Jr., my buddy, my friend. There's some artists that we're business associates, and then there's some that are dear friends to me. Russell Tomkins Jr. is my friend. I love him. We love each other. And one day, it was in 2022, because I grew up a fan of his, and I guess he was watching me do things with Ali or whatever. But not only that, but he approached me in 2022 at one of our events that I co-produced up in the Poconos. And he said, "Hey, man, I'm working on an album, and I got a song I want you to sing bass on." So I said, "Yeah, right, Russ. Sure, this is Russell Tomkins." He said, "No, man, I'm serious." I said, "Russ, I'm not a bass singer, man, He said, "Maurice, if I say you're a bass singer, you're a bass singer. I've listened to you. You're a bass singer. I'm going to send you the material." So about a year and a half later, I believe, we got the material, and I went to work, as I always do, dedicated in the studio. I practiced. I think my family got tired of hearing that song over and over. But that's what I do when I get on a project. I go hard at it. I don't just go and show up like I got it like that. I go in the basement, and you can see the difference even with artists who still go in the basement. You can see it on stage. So I went in the basement, and I stayed there, and I got that part down packed and everything. And sure enough, we went in the studio, and Russell Tomkins Jr. turned me into a true bass singer on his album. And we recorded the Ravens classic, Lilacs in the Rain.
Okay.
And that project turned out to be beautiful, and I didn't know the connection with him, and his father was a member of the Ravens. So
Oh, wow. I didn't know that.
think Russell also, and it's available. It's on my website. There's on all the matter of fact, I'm sorry, that download is not, but that's going to get ready to be released, and when it is, but the track, you can hear it on my website at MauriceWatts.com.
Okay, we'll be looking out for that. So we usually like to ask those that have been in the business for a while. You're a veteran of the music and entertainment business. There are a lot of young folks trying to get into this business. The business has changed so much over the years. What kind of advice can you give to our youth trying to do what you're doing?
Do you? That's the secret. Do you? There's so many people come into this industry trying to be somebody, People come out, "Oh, you sound just like Von Harper, or you sound like Frankie Crocker," or whatever. But one thing they could say is, I do me. I didn't come in trying to be Vaughn. I didn't come in trying to be Frankie. When I was with Ali, I wasn't trying to be Melvin. I did me. Stay true to your talent, your inner talent. No one can do you better than you. Do your homework, study your craft, practice. I listen to the Love Zone. Every broadcast I do, it plays every day in my car, wherever I'm at, over and over until I'm back on the air. Because I'm my own critique. I don't let nobody else critique my show. So I listen. I can hear it, and be real with yourself.
Right.
You know when you wasn't right. You know
Right.
when you didn't sing right.
Right.
And don't do nothing when you're not filling up the part. Sometimes if you're down and out, it's better to just don't do the show than to go on that show and sound crappy, because you never know who's listening. You may be looking for sponsors or something, and you always want to put your best foot forward. Do you? That's what I tell everyone. And listen to yourself. You know the truth. Everyone else gonna big you up. "Oh man, you sound good. Oh, you sound good." You know the truth. If you stepping into this industry, it's because you got that niche to do it. So do it your way and stay strong with it. You're gonna face adversities from stations according to how when you start up. I happen to be blessed enough to come in, and if you come through them doors strong enough and powerful, they're gonna want you. So now you can get to do it your way. Like I said, I turned down a big commercial station in New York. They said, "Why you not on the big station?" I said, "Because I need to be able to do it my way." Now I'm around the world. I'm known around the world. My Love Zone t-shirts is around the world, Africa, Japan, Tokyo, you name it. When they sending me pictures, I know, and people, they're listening to you. And nowadays, we're on the internet worldwide. Remember, people are listening to you, and now we got cameras in the studio. They're watching you.
They're watching and
So you got to
listening.
look your best now. You have to sound your best. but be true to yourself. And that's my biggest thing that I would tell anyone.
Maurice, that is some great advice. I appreciate you taking the time to be on the show here today. And we want to thank you folks for joining us here today. I want to thank my co-host, Kevin White.
Thank you, Tim.
Julian Seward.
Always a pleasure, Tim. Thanks.
And Maurice Watts. Tell us how folks can get a hold of you if they want to, come to your events.
Well, mention my events. Can I tell them about what's coming up in December real quick?
Absolutely.
Okay, well, December is going to be my 43rd radio anniversary.
Okay.
And that's going to be the first solo project that I'm doing. I'm producing the entire 5 days and 4 nights up at the Kalahari Resorts in the Poconos. And we're bringing in 14 legendary acts. We're bringing in the Shy Lights, featuring Russell Tomkins Jr. We're bringing in Russell Tomkins Jr. and the New Stylistics. We're bringing in Heat Wave, Atlantic Star, the Sugar Hill Gang, Enchantment, the Daz Band. We're bringing in Paulie Carmen from Champaign. We're bringing in also the SOS Band, Lakeside. We're bringing in the Daz Band, the Tim Prees, the Superwoman herself, Cameron White is going to be there. First Choice and others. So we want to make sure that you guys come out. It's 4 nights and 5 days of legendary concert performance. We got parties. We're going to have the black tie sit down dinner, the Western boots where you can put your boots on the ground party. We're going to have the elegant pajama party, the elegant masquerade ball party. We're also going to have your favorite sports jersey. So whatever team you're supporting, go Cowboys, even though they ain't going nowhere right now.
Okay.
You can rock your jerseys there and come on out and hang out with us. There's going to be 4 beautiful nights. And we have a layaway plan where you can do things on the air. Go to my website, MauriceWatts.com. You can find out all about it. And when you ask Tim, how can they find out about me and what I'm doing? This is another word of advice to people. Get a .com. Invest in yourself, spend the money, get your own website, design it, get a .com. And if it's your name, use it. There's nothing bigger than your name. If someone wants to find anything about Maurice Watts, Google Maurice Watts on the internet. If you want to find out about anything, what do? They go to the Google. Google Maurice Watts. But everything is on MauriceWatts.com. How to book me, my bio, my history, my podcast. We got podcasts up there, Tim, from 2009. So we got a large archive up there. We got videos of the live streaming shows, photo galleries, you name it, it's there. And of course, the Voice Distribution's online store is there for you too.
I appreciate you. I appreciate you taking the time. Let's give it up for Maurice Watts.
I thank you, man. I appreciate you, baby. And thank you, Tim. You see, that's another thing people don't do. People don't thank people enough. They wait till they're down in the grave looking down. And I'm going to look you directly there and say, thank you, brother, for all you've done for me during my career too, man.
Thank you so much. And we thank you for taking the time out of your day, your busy schedule, for being part of the R&B Showcase. We appreciate you one more time for Maurice Watts.
Thank you so much.
From New York City. Thank you, Maurice.
Thank you for having me. God bless you.
I'm Tim Marshall, and thank you for joining us for R&B Showcase Live.